Everyone, welcome back to Touch the Fire Twice. I'm Joshua, and I'm here today to do my Bath & Body Works White Barn Candle Company Holiday Candle Haul and Overview Part 2. If you have not watched Part 1, you can check it out here, where I go through some of the holiday classics, first 5 fragrances I purchased in this haul, and today we're going to get into the second half, which leans more toward the gourmand, and in this case, actually fairly minty candles. But before we get into that, if you're new to Touch the Fire Twice, welcome. My mission here is to share my love and passion for home fragrance as an enthusiast, an educator, a reviewer, to inspire you to increase your own fragrance knowledge and understanding, ultimately enhancing the scent memories that you create. If you want to learn more about what I do, why I do it, how I do it, you can check out my website at TouchTheFireTwice.com. But for now, let's dig right into the second half of this haul. So here I have some returning, I believe these are all returning candles, nothing new here. One is new to me, one is an all-time classic, and it's actually kind of a mixed bag of things. So let's start with the all-time classic. If you watched my first video, you'll know I talked briefly about my very first Bath & Body Works Slacken & Co. era candle haul back in 2009, where I purchased Winter and Fireside and Fresh Balsam and Twisted Peppermint. You can't go wrong. I love the shower gel. I will use that nearly every November, December. It is such a classic. The same goes for the candle. For me, it is not the holidays without a Twisted Peppermint Bath & Body Works candle. There are many other interpretations. I mean, peppermint is in obviously a ton of holiday candles as we see here, but many brands, certainly brands that do seasonal releases, are going to have a variation on your vanilla peppermint blends. This one is a classic. It's been around for, I don't even know how long. It may have been pre-Slacken & Co. era, part of the kind of Vanilla Bean Noel, Twisted Peppermint, Winter Candy Apple trio of holiday classics, signature collection that Bath & Body Works has had for literal decades at this point. I will say with this is the type of style, the art direction, the collection that I'm less interested in than some of the others from the earlier video. Think of the ribbon candy, really pretty, kind of almost conceptual. It's a little bit too literal, cartoony, kind of kiddish for me, but it's the holidays, so whatever, everything goes. It's all good. I will also say, before I get into the fragrance, which I really do obviously enjoy, this has a bad burn and unfortunately is going back to the store for an exchange, a refund, however they're doing it now. I'm not entirely certain, but I lit this for about close to 3 hours, at least 2 hours and 45 minutes in a hurricane, in a well-warmed room, and the pool stayed small, and it's hard to see because it's all white wax, but the wax was dragging down the sides here, and it created a cliff here, and it's just like, I'm sorry, that's how many years in? It's not acceptable for Bath & Body Works to have candles like this, so this dud is going back to the store. Hopefully another one in this collection won't do the same thing, but sometimes that does happen. If it's the same formulation, it might. So we'll see what happens. That said, notes on this one: cool peppermint, sugared snow, fresh balsam, vanilla buttercream, hint of musk. That's a lot. That's more than they sometimes have said in the past. I don't fully agree with all of it, but some of it makes sense. Certainly cool peppermint, no kidding. Sugared snow, that's very conceptual. It could be a million things. Hard to say what snow is, but something that's going to give you a coolness, a sweetness. Sugared snow, okay, so it's sweet. Fresh balsam, that's a bit of a stretch, but I could see the cooling feeling in this candle being, let's say, 85% from the peppermint and 15% from the exhilarating, invigorating, outdoor, bracing, fresh balsam, like the fresh balsam candle. I'll buy it. Hint of musk. Tough to see in here, but it could be just that little thing that elevates this to make it more than just a candy cane. That's certainly why it makes sense in body care, because there's just going to be a true balance, kind of a true fine fragrance with top, middle, bottom notes in it. If there is just a hint of the literal hint of musk in this, who knows exactly what type of musk they're talking about, but it's going to bring a depth, kind of a fixative to the other notes, tie them all together, and maybe just that kind of the small veil of sophistication or warmth or sensuality to it. And finally, the vanilla buttercream, I call tomfoolery on that one, because certainly there's vanilla in here. You could call it whipped vanilla, you could call it vanilla bean, you could call it candied vanilla, you could call it meringue if you wanted to. Buttercream, no. Buttercream is gonna be rich, savory, goopy, ooey gooey. This is not that. I don't get a buttercream in here. Buttercream is heavy and truly bakery, and I don't get that at all from this. So the buttercream, I think that's they're selling that for the folks who want a true like cupcake sweetie kind of candle. Put this in front of anyone and they're gonna say, oh, that's vanilla peppermint. They're gonna say probably candy cane, whatever. That's fine. But there is more, a candy cane is more so just peppermint. There is a decent dose of vanilla in here. A classic. I just wish it performed better because it's just dumb that it doesn't at this point after so many years. All right, digging deeper in this, let's go a little left lane. For me, this one's been out, I think, a couple of years. I never purchased it until this season. This is Peppermint Hot Chocolate, sweet peppermint, silky milk chocolate, sweet cream. Not giving us a whole lot. Now, I will say, so I smelled this with my mask on, and I didn't purchase it the 1 or 2 other years it was out. I was like, nah, hot cocoa and cream is good. I got my peppermints. I don't need to mix the two. I always liked sort of like the mint chocolate candle that comes out, like a true creamy Andes mint that came out during the Slacken era. And with my mask on, I liked the scent of this one. Now, not so much. I would perhaps consider exchanging this. If I do, I wouldn't burn it and then exchange it because I'm not going to exchange something that's been burned unless it's defective like a twisted peppermint. But it's not as balanced or as sweet as when I sniffed it with my mask on. It's a little bit more, the peppermint it almost feels more like a spearmint to me. It's more like a spring mint, like a sweet mint, or like a double mint gum sort of, with chocolate shavings. So it is mint chocolate. I don't get hot chocolate at all. Like there's sweet cream, like a creamy chocolate, but it's not like a hot chocolate with peppermint in it, like something from Starbucks or something you might find. It leans a little artificial for me. Yeah, the sweet mint is more botanical, like mint leaves with, I suppose, an authentic dark chocolate shavings. Like if you just bit into a piece of dark chocolate. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not working for me. It is peppermint, it is chocolate, but they've had so many variations of minty chocolates over the years that this is, and it's a little sour too. Yeah, I'm not vibing with this one. If I can easily exchange this, I think I will. It's just, I can't imagine wanting to burn this more than Twisted Peppermint, or certainly more than 2 others over here that mix those together and you'll have the ideal Peppermint Hot Chocolate. I'm sure you know which 2 candles I'm talking about. So yeah, moving on from that. If you love that one, I'd love to hear why you love it. Then let's go to, before I get to the 2 I was just referencing, I'll go to what is kind of a classic at this point. It launched probably 10 years ago. I want to say maybe it was 2012 when they did that kind of cutesy collection where we saw sort of Snow Day and so many interesting candles. I can visualize it. I can't remember the rest of the candles off the top of my head, but I want to say that Vanilla Snowflake may have first appeared in there, like 2012, 13, something like that. And the name conceptual doesn't tell you much of what it is other than, okay, it's gonna be winter-like and vanilla-based, fine. And the notes, based on notes, I would not think I would like this. Frozen vanilla, iced fir needles, mint leaf, and coconut flakes. So vanilla, fir, all right, you got me there, that's fine. Mint leaf and coconut flakes. Mint leaf, okay, that is holiday, that works. The coconut flakes, I typically hate when specifically Bath & Body Works puts coconut in so many fragrances year round. I mean, it's bad enough that come December 20th, you're gonna see some Tropical Escape collection when we probably haven't had snow yet. At least where I live, probably haven't had snow by then. And they'll be like, Escape to the Tropics, spring break getaway. And I'm like, it's December. Can I have winter for at least another month or 2 in store, right? But they put coconut, even when it's not a Tropical Getaway collection, and then coconut all spring and summer long. They even put coconut in it, a fair amount of holiday, coconut snowball and frosty this. And I typically do not like something that tropical in a cold weather fragrance because it doesn't track, it doesn't line up in my mind. For whatever reason, unless maybe it was like a toasted coconut, like a gourmand dessert or something, right? For whatever reason, this totally works. This candle is difficult because on blind sniff, it would be hard to pick out notes, I think, beyond a creamy, cooling vanilla. And it is elevated in the sense that I'm sure that cooling comes from kind of like mintiness, right? But it's elevated because where this peppermint hot chocolate feels like, frankly, an amateur took peppermint essential oil, mixed them with a drop of vanilla and said it's a peppermint hot chocolate. This one is so, what feels like expertly built that, yeah, there's probably a little bit of mint in there to cool this down, but it's not, oh, that's spearmint. It's just it's the smallest hint to bring out other essences within the other notes, as opposed to being here's front and center mint. It does something to the other notes in this fragrance. And same with the coconut. Like the coconut is not tropical. It is not obvious. Like maybe a little bit of coconut cookie, perhaps, but like just the sweetened coconut shavings that you buy to make baked goods. But this candle is one of those that I just can't stop sniffing because it is one of those rare scents that is so sweet but not cloying. 9 times out of 10, if you have a very, very sweet fragrance, it is gonna be cloying. It's gonna be your caramel, your ooey gooey, your drippy, just like sweet tooth, hurt your teeth kind of eating it scent. And I don't like that, but I do like sweet expressed in the right way. And this one is that, because there's, I suppose, those iced fir needles and frozen vanilla, which the frozen vanilla heavily overtakes. Think of almost like your vanilla balsam. Think almost of a bit of like that under the Christmas tree from the first video. Cooling vanilla mixed with an evergreen. It's almost like it dulls the astringency and resinous of an evergreen and in turn somewhat sweetens it and adds just that spicy, soft sensuality that you come to expect from a really nice vanilla or vanilla bean. So you get that soft warmth almost from the vanilla, but that little bit of fir cools it down, maybe the mint cools it down, and you get this background of not quite gourmand, but some sort of, I don't even want to call it sweetness. I don't know how to describe the coconut in this. I would love to know what other notes are in here because I'm imagining it's more than just the 4 in here. It's just really pretty. Kind of like baked good or bakery. It's such a intriguing blend of that sweet vanilla coolness that I keep sniffing it, and it's really nice. It doesn't really evoke a feeling, a mood, a place for me, other than it's kind of addictive in its scent, and it always surprises me that I like it. Like every year I'm like, I don't know, and I sniff it, I'm like, oh no, I want to buy this, especially compared to other random new conceptuals that are out there. All right, let me know what you think of Vanilla Snowflake if I'm alone in that. Now I'm gonna get into these two, and these are two powerhouses. These are two really great scents for anyone who loves a gourmand foodie Bath & Body Works style candle. These are really like, not necessarily my favorites if I had to say what are my top 5 period for, holiday winter Bath & Body Works, but for what they are, the blends that they are the best in their category, period. Let's start with hot cocoa and cream. So Slacken & Co. with Bath & Body Works launched a hot chocolate candle in 2011. It was okay, it was a little powdery, it was a little dry, you got some of the marshmallows. It worked, but it was more on sort of like a slightly singed, milky, almost kind of like pudding fragrance. Not too sweet. It was fairly authentic, but not a super expression of what you think of when you smell or at least taste hot chocolate. And hot chocolate is one of those things that it tastes more than it smells, whereas some things smell more than they taste. I feel like hot chocolate it's more the flavor versus just the scent that we get. This collection here, I have a couple of candles from this. This is one of those, I guess they consider it to be, I don't know, cheap. I mean, literally cheaper. It's $1 cheaper than some other candles. I don't know if it's because it's not a wraparound label. Typically now they're doing these slightly more simple as far as one label with a colored wax collections where you have some of their core popular scents. It's $1 cheaper than some others. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense necessarily, but I'll take it. It's $1 less. Okay, that's fine. This one is sort of your Nutcracker Sweet, or maybe not your Nutcracker Sweet, but just like a performance. It's cute. It is very cutesy. It's not my favorite. I like when you're across the room, it just kind of looks like I don't know what's going on here, but I can see the draw for folks because it does feel holiday. You're going to maybe a musical, or you're going to a performance, or again, Nutcracker, something like that. Getting into the notes on hot cocoa and cream. Decadent milk chocolate, fresh steamed milk, mini marshmallows. This is another one of those fragrances that I think, I mean, hot chocolate, do I really need that? Do I want that? But for that, like, okay, it's 9 a.m. I don't want something super piney and spicy like a 'tis the season, or necessarily that whoosh exhilarating fresh balsam. What I want to burn. Sometimes it's going to be like hot cocoa and cream because it's sweet, it's comforting, it's, you know, like your early morning cup of coffee, right? And what is so impressive about this is it truly is, it smells like hot cocoa. Now, I will say it leans towards sort of your Swiss Miss. So it leans a little cheap as far as it's not a decadent, dripping, you know, drinking chocolate that is a melted bar of chocolate. It's a little more towards like you've got some Swiss Miss powder that you're mixing to get it mixed into that milk. But you know what? I mean, for me, it's more, it's not like a high-end, beautiful gourmand of the most, as they say, decadent milk chocolate with fresh steamed milk. It's a little bit more nostalgia factor for me. It kind of smells like the Swiss Miss you had when you were a kid with the packet with the little crunchy marshmallows in it. And that's okay, because again, scent is about scent memories and what it makes you feel. And I loved ripping open those things and having the one envelope of the powder and then the extra marshmallow version where you'd get a separate envelope full of the crunchy little marshmallows to put on top because you wanted more than just that. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, again, that drinking chocolate with artisanal, freshly handmade, you know, marshmallows, that sort of thing. So for nostalgia factor, this is very authentic and works for me. And it is rich, it's warm, it's chocolatey. It doesn't lean towards your artificial, cheap chocolate like a lot or nearly all chocolate blends do. It leans powdery, but for hot cocoa, I mean, cocoa powder is oftentimes how you're gonna make any hot chocolate, not just your, you know, packets of Swiss Miss. So it is certainly the cocoa powder. I wish they didn't say decadent milk chocolate. In fact, if they said cocoa powder, which would even make more sense with the name, that would feel more accurate to me. Cocoa powder, a little bit of vanilla bean, certainly those dried crunchy marshmallows for sure, not an ooey gooey wet marshmallow, not your marshmallow fluff. It's nice. It's again, it's pretty, it's sweet, it's nostalgic, it's inoffensive, and if you want a hot chocolate scent, that is, in my mind, the one to go with. And then finally, the star of the show, for me, this is the best bakery scent that Bath & Body Works has come out with in, gosh, I don't know, 5, 7, 10 years. The only one that would be as high or higher than this would be that Mary Madeline cookie, which came out in 2020, which was a repackage of a 2011, I think it was like a tangerine cake, toasted something from their recipe winners collection. If anyone knew that trio way back in the day, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, it's not that exciting necessarily, but that was incredible from 2020, that Mary Madeline cookie, that orange French Madeline cakey cookie. Whew, love that. Really a shame that hasn't come back. This is just as good in its own way, and that is Peppermint Sugar Cookie. This one came out probably, I want to say 2019 or maybe 2020, I think perhaps 2020, and it is so good. Now, I'm not one who likes the Mary cookies, the 12 Night Before Christmas, the chocolate chip cookies, the homemade cookies, the Santa's cookies, the snickerdoodles, the ginger snaps, the spiced gingerbread, all of those. Sometimes they can be okay, sometimes they're all right. They're usually not authentic, they get murky, they get gross. They're more like a Mrs. Fields artificial cookie where you just open it and you smell artificial flavors versus a true home-baked cookie, which, if I'm burning a candle, I want it to smell truly authentic and hopefully unique. This candle just hits the mark. Notes on this one: crushed peppermint, vanilla extract, creamy butter, soft sugar cookies. So they're almost getting into ingredients here, which is accurate because it does smell so authentic. So they're giving us the mint and sugar cookie. That makes sense, right? So it is the perfect blend of mint and authentic buttery sugar cookie. So you think of, the mint, let's say in Twisted Peppermint, And so they're similar because they both have that sort of crushed, cool, creamy, vanilla-y peppermint. Much, much more mentholated, understandably, in the Twisted Peppermint. But this one is soft, where unlike your Peppermint Hot Chocolate, where it feels like a generic peppermint essential oil, this one is nuanced. This one is balanced. It is a soft, almost like a buttermint sort of peppermint. So if you took like truly a creamy peppermint, or your sort of Andes peppermint, so though they say crushed peppermint and vanilla extract, think creamy, almost like a buttercream mint. So it's very subdued, balanced, sweet mint. And the sugar cookie is actually there. It is a really straightforward, does not smell artificial to me, sugar cookie. It's not the kind that you crunch, that you crack, that are kind of the rolled out sugar cookies. It's more like your traditional kind of roll it in a ball, roll it in your sugar and bake it, kind of like, similar to your snickerdoodles. It's that soft, simple baked good, almost towards kind of like your shortbread, not quite. Just a soft, authentic sugar cookie. I can't describe it more than that, other than it is your grandma's or your auntie's plain sugar cookie. With the peppermint has to be like a peppermint, almost buttercream. And I'm not one for those crumble cookies that have like a ton of like topped cookies with lots of like a great cookie that then you ruin with a bunch of like gooey sweet stuff that's like a cupcake cookie. Not for people love it. That's great. You love what you love. I don't care. That's fine. I love plenty of things that people hate. Not for me though. And that's almost what I feel like this would have to be, because the mint is not so much just like in the cookie. So I don't know why I love it as much as I do. Maybe it's just a little bit of sweet, candy cane crystals right on top of the cookie. It's just such a good mix of 60% cookie, 40% mint without being overpowered. Just again, like hats off to them for really balancing this blend and making it so authentic and unique, which could be very generic. I mean, when you think of the two, not to keep harping on it, sorry to whoever created Peppermint Hot Chocolate, but these scents should be probably pretty similar, because you're talking, mint and chocolate and mint and a cookie. Like, they both seem like go anywhere, go to Walmart, you can find a candle like that. And this one is just in a different class than this one. And I hope this is popular enough that it comes back year after year, because I think it really is a beautiful, beautiful scent. I could go on and on. I don't know why I'm turning this haul into like some super in-depth review that is kind of, I guess, par for the course with me. Let me know what you think of any of these candles. Let's wrap it up here. What are your loves? What are your hates? What did I miss here? What have I not purchased yet that you think I should? Are there any that you want more in-depth reviews than I've already done throughout this haul and overview? Let me know, and until next time, take care.